move. Um, you see, I think we should be very, very careful with the way we are trending with this thing. We should be really, really careful so that we don't end up having, because the line we are going to, we are slightly entering this line of conservatism thing, which is not a bad thing, but at the end we start having extremists among us. And that is one part we don't want to cross when it comes to the Delta states. Everybody has been living fine for a very long time. So I don't see why some people should be saying this or that, but it's fine. Is the Warri State needed in Delta State? You see all these political gimmicks that are using our head to play. it is very, very, very funny. First, let me first clear some facts here first. First, nobody owns any land in Nigeria. Everything belongs to the government. Nobody owns anywhere. It belongs to the government. Highest thing the government will do is compensate you. I don't know if the Delta State has the 99 years. Excuse me, guys. I have a sore throat. I don't know if the Delta State have a 99 years law applied to them too, where if you buy a house, you can use it for 99 years and you return the land back to the state government. But by chance, no land belongs to anybody, be it Robo, Delta, whoever you are, you're nothing. It belongs to the government. So whenever they need their land, they come and take it. Like I said, they'll compensate you only. So back to the conversation. I don't think
Let me
we need
quickly,
a war.
just quickly add to you. In Delta State, there Asaba has 65 years rule. In some parts of Anyocha, they have 99 years rule. So just so you know.
All right, all right. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So like I was saying, guys, you see, one thing about the black man is that we have refused to grow. That's just the honest truth. I keep saying this the most of the time in my submission. I'm sorry, someone's mic is on. Sorry. I think we have refused to grow. You see this breakage, and breakage. Do we want to break ourselves to the last ethnicity? Oh, someone came and said if the worry people come and say they what do you even know how fine blended Delta State is? We have so many tribes inside one state and they are well blended together without any issue or anything. So is that why you want to start having worry states? And if you break that worry state, who is going to rule? Then worry people, Shekiri people will say these things. You don't allow such kind of holes or loopholes in your unity, because if you keep breaking and breaking and breaking, at what point would you stop breaking? I can bet you tomorrow if I give you Warri State, Ishekiris will come outside or Yorubas will come outside and say, oh, we are being subjugated here, oh, we are being marginalized here, we want to have our own Yoruba state. They will break again, the Ijaws will say they want to have their own state. So is that how we want to keep breaking and breaking till we break to the last ethnic state? I think all these things boils down to bad leadership. Let's stop allowing people who are looking for some political, just like animal states now. You think I'll listen to Ned because he's chasing for his personal selfish purpose. I'll start giving him animal states. It makes no sense. These are politicians and they are political tools to just get power at the end of the day. Oh, you said because you're not being applied to, oh, you're being, everybody's marginalized in Delta. It's already the rich people, the politicians that are enjoying the wealth of that oil you're complaining about. Because at the end of the day, everybody's bringing oil from their own spaces. And nobody's really, even the Okpara where I'm coming from in Delta State. Have you gone to see how that place looked like before? And I'm an robot person. Oh, they're cheating. Go here now, go to Bayelsa State. How many local government Bayelsa State have? How small as they had, the whole money coming from their oil money. How many things have they done with it in Bayelsa State? It's one of the poorest states you can have in Nigeria. And it's an oil-rich state. Few local governments, few people, very rich state, but very poor state at the end of the day for its people. So why would you come with this ideology of, oh, to get to, it wouldn't get to you. Bad leadership at the end of the day is what's killing Delta State. Nothing else, nothing more. So please, if somebody here is coming to push conservativeness for you, please kill that line. Because if you keep doing these things, we'll start having conservatives in our zones, in our people, and this whole madness will start coming back, and it doesn't make any sense.
Please, I
We
have a
have
question.
robos. They'll... Sorry, was anybody saying anything,
Abuja
please?
Davido, please. It's okay. Wait. You ask your question.
My question is this. What I'm not hearing from this group is, first of all, the question is, why are they creating the Warri State? Is it for an advantage purpose or for a disadvantage? Because for me, I feel Delta State is a big state, and trying to split it into two will make the, maybe when we have governors, like somebody said, Toju once said that Udwara, he make mention of Udwara, how Udwara even developed some of the Robos region and some of the Jos region, unlike what he did in the Chekri region. The last, also Okowa was there. Okowa did some things in the at the Asaba region, but in Warri here now, you will see that Sheriff is doing a lot of projects here in Warri now, but he will not forsake those other environments. So I feel if we have the states, we have
All
a Warri State and we have Delta State, it will make project to be going on and on all the time. Not like when
all
a
right.
new
I
government
thought
comes
you're giving
in,
a submission,
then
David.
some other part will be abandoned. So my question still goes: is it for or is it because the name Warri, because they are calling the name Warri, that's why people are going against it? Is it because of the name? Because I believe, what if they have called it another name? Will you still be arguing this thing? So that's my question.
All right, thank you very much. I get your question. And you see, that's why we have power. I think there's a new law now that gives local governments autonomy. That's why you have local governments at the end of the day, so that this whole thing, development, money, it can get to your grassroots. Now your local government has its own money to develop its own place. So what do you need the state creation for if you're saying the development is not getting to your place? See, all these excuses are not needed. Let's stop this whole new state, no new state. If I give you your new state, the same thing is still going to happen. So what's the whole fuse about? You have a local government chairman who is in charge of your local government, even breaking it more further for you to get to the grassroots. So what do you need a new state for again? And they have their autonomy now. So all this mumbo jumbo trying to move around, it doesn't make any sense. If we
Sorry,
cannot
Mr.
live
Michael,
together as one,
that is not my question. You didn't get what I'm saying, Mr. Michael.
you,
When
I get your
Okowa, I
point.
said when Okowa was on seat, when Okowa was ruling Delta State, I myself, I live in Warri. You will discover that if you go to a place like Efron and Asaba, there was development going on. There was during Okowa's time. You see that because they are federal roads, they are state roads. You see that development was good, like you mentioned of local government. But there was no day I have seen any. Okay, look at Sheriff now. He's doing the NRA Junction Bridge and some several bridge inside these warrior houses. Now, not Asaba. Is this the local government that is going to do those projects or the state governors? So, but when Okowa was, these projects were not being handled. Nobody was doing anything. But now Sheriff has come now. He's doing all this. Now people in Asaba, maybe some project that ought to be going on in Asaba, that means to be paused for the meantime. Because it shows that if you look at
Um,
I think we've lost
is
Michael.
this saying
Yeah,
Let's
can
share.
you know what?
All right.
Michael,
Um,
it's okay.
please, can we let
Oreke
there are a lot of
and
people on this
Delta
space that have
State
not
has enough
spoken.
money to fix everywhere. So fixing pay areas in Warri shouldn't be an excuse for the governor not to.
sorry,
Okay.
let's have Rookies
I
and
want. Okay. I feel like two people are talking at the same time. I don't know if it's me, if it's the leader, if
No,
it's
it's me. I was
Sorry, I
trying.
didn't get to finish my submission. Just cut short. NjenjeMedia, what are you doing?
Nothing. I said, okay, you are supposed to round up, right?
The guy came in and started giving submission, said he wanted to ask a question. I didn't even argue with him. So,
Okay, okay, make you round up.
all right. Ladies and gentlemen, before Michael goes ahead, this space, I'm gonna wrap up this space by 10:30. That means I have to give everyone 2 minutes to wrap up your submission. So everyone on the speaker section can speak and we can all go to bed and prep for work or school or whatever it is we do on a Monday morning. All right. So Michael, I'm giving you 2 minutes. After Michael, I'm going to take Rex B Tony underscore Riz FM. So Michael, please wrap up. And after that, I'm going to take Otori share. Those are the two people that have their hands raised on the space, and we'll call it a night. Michael,
all right, thank you very much. Anyways, so back to what I was saying. All this, we have to create more states so that we can. So you're trying to. The argument is, if one side is not performing well, we should break extra state again so that they can perform better. And I just gave you a simple logic. That's why you have a local government to fix your problems in your area. The local government has lots of power right now. They have the right now to start fixing roads. They have the right to build your local health center. So if everybody is doing their job diligently, I don't see why we should have a breakage of states. So please let's not bring the idea of and Delta has, like Jimmy rightly said, we have a lot of money to fix two Delta states in one. If we really want to, do well with the money we're getting. I just feel this is a lazy idea now. We need to start holding our leaders accountable and responsible for how they spend these funds, anyways. I think I yield.
all right, thank you, Michael. Rex B Tony, over to you, please.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Wayimi, Chifidemudia, and Rikeze, the host of this gathering. Uh, I've listened to a lot of speakers comment on this matter of state creation, and the tune I'm getting is the outright, mood of rejecting state creation, or probably criticizing it
Hello.
for the fact that. Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
I can
Hello.
hear you.
Can I
I
Yeah,
can hear
go
you.
speak?
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Please hold on. Someone is talking. So Tony, go ahead.
All right. I noticed that we are having to criticize the state creation without even first accepting the fact that there are a lot of challenges that is leading to the agitation for people to have a sense of belonging. Whether you call it state creation or whatever, it is the idea of having a sense of belonging. In the marriage called Nigeria today, if you ask me, a lot of Nigerians are left behind in this marriage, and this marriage was forced on us. Time is not available. I would have started from the background. How we amalgamated, how nobody considered anybody to be on the table to discuss the terms and conditions to be one Nigeria before even we talk about creation of state and all of that. You talk about ethnic minorities that are suffering in Nigeria. Shekiri is one of them. And in fact, you come to Delta State, they rank top as the most marginalized and underdeveloped, ethnic nationality. There are regions. Somebody was making reference to oil production. I don't know where some of us get our data from, but the data are everywhere. As far as Delta State is concerned, Ishekris produced the highest of crude oil. Now, if we take that quantum of crude oil being produced, you monetize it in terms of the monetary value, you compare to the development that's available in this region, it's almost like zero. Nothing is happening. Just like someone was also pointing out, development is happening in Delta State on ethnic basis, and it is that sad. The only person that have governed Delta State in a detribalized way is Governor Emmanuel Iweta Oduanga. And that is why today we have a system where anybody coming into power is seeking to concentrate, in his area. Governor Sheriff currently is bringing a campus of the state university at Uzoro down to Rurukpe. In fact, that campus will be completed very soon. The speed at which they are developing or building that facility would amaze you. That just show you the level of ethnic bias and the fact that Nigeria today, we are still deceiving ourselves that we are Nigerians, just as we are deceiving ourselves that we are Deltans. Because in terms of reality, it is not showing. We call ourselves Nigerians, but anybody get into office, they are concentrating on developing their area. We have senators who go to the Senate just to get multiple projects and concentrate it in their village. And when people begin to speak up and say, we cannot continue like this for several, years, hundreds of years, 50 years, 30 years gone, nothing to show for the numbers of, wealth taken from your soil, and you think that this marriage should continue. I feel that anybody who feel aggrieved and not being carried along in this marriage called Nigeria, in this marriage called Delta State, they should be allowed to exit peacefully. There should be no rancor. Nobody should entertain any fear or bias to say, oh, why are they leaving? What would be the eventuality of their state creation? Would it mean that their state will be totally developed to a state of Eldorado? It doesn't matter. Even if, for example, we remain and we still don't get development, it doesn't mean because, oh, we remain, that is why we did not get development, or because we splitted, that is why we're not getting development. It only means that we want to have a sense of belonging. We know outright that the politicians are corrupt. They are a major, problem in this scheme of discussion around development, no doubt. But a situation where people are not being carried along, they don't see themselves as belonging to a state or in a government that has been set up, they should be allowed peacefully. We should not, in fact, we were formerly banned there before Delta State was created. Why is Edo State not having grudges against us? So we are no longer part of Edo State because of the fact that we have moved to Delta State. That should not be any excuse. Now, back to some of the issues raised by pharmacists. I think pharmacy may have grown up in Warri, but pharmacy is not even grounded with what is really Warri. He made some explanation which was quite confusing. In fact, he was referring to Warri Southwest local government, not Warri South. Now, Warri Southwest local government I was referring to was created on the basis of the Warri Federal Constituency, which belonged to the Shekiris. Now, the fact that people migrate and dominate your area, just like you have in Lagos, it doesn't make them part owners of those places. And that is what we are not understanding in this whole discussion. So we are modeling things up. Every federal constituency is usually targeting to identify and represent certain group of persons who form the country, who form the states that we call Nigeria today. So if you talk about Ethiopia federal constituency, we're talking about a group of Nigerians, who are concentrated in the Ethiopia areas. The same thing applies to the Shekris who are concentrated in Warri. Most of the areas the pharmacists mentioned about Warri, there are places where we have Urhobo residing, not necessarily ownership. That is one correction that he failed to understand. Yes, in terms of their population, they came and dominated the place. But in terms of ownership, it doesn't belong to them. The only one that went to them eventually was the Okere Urhobo, which was won at the Supreme Court in terms of possessory right, but title was not also given to them. The Agbasa, for example, the other area you mentioned as far as Agbasa, they lost all of those lands, in terms of court judgment. Now, why are we always having problem? It's because the government of the day also failed to apply this legality of what the court has said as far as land dispute is concerned. Urhobo and Urhobo can have land dispute. Ishekri and Ishekri can have land dispute. But once a judgment has been reached, it is expected that the government of the day obeys stricto sensu what the court has said, and that will bring peace. A situation where we use political solution and say whatever the court says doesn't matter, I will do what I can do. That is what happened with Ogidigbe. Ogidigbe was, the gazetted local government headquarters from federal. We were not the one who created the local government. The military government there created it for Warri Federal Constituency, which are Shekiris. The Ijos were residing part and parcel of the, Warri Southwest local government. So they are in the local government. but they are not originally from the Warri federal constituency. So at the end of the day, they were agitating that instead of Ogidigbe, it should be at Ogbijo. But if government who created it did not change it, till today, it is still gazetted as Ogidigbe. But because of the crisis they created with it, the government now shaking that instead of them to put their foot on the ground and say this is what the law says, they use political solution under the Delta State government and move the headquarters illegally to Ogbijo. So what you are telling me now is that I would have also to take up arm and wrestle back that local government back to the original headquarters that is gazetted there, which is still the thing that is in the paper there, so that I can show that I am really the owner. Is that what you are saying? That we should all be restive? But we can't get to that level where everybody is restive, that if it doesn't happen the way I want it, I have to take up arm. So the situation we have in Nigeria is almost like a state of anarchy where there is no law. Only those who have the power of ammunition can carry the day, and that is what is killing, the minority of this country. They say democracy is a government of the people, by the people, for the people, and democracy is a government of the majority. If democracy is the government of the majority, what's then happened to the minorities? That is the big question in the room, or big elephant in the room, that nobody is talking about. Yes, we want the population to determine who lead us in terms of resources. Now, the resources is taken from the minority, but when it comes to sharing formula, it goes to the majority. So who now settles or satisfy the minority who even produce these resources? Nobody's answering that question. If the majority, they say the minority can have their say, but the majority will have their way. If the majority continue to have their way and the minority only have to have their say without having their way, what then happen? What is the predicament of the minority? These are issues that we are not solving in our polity. That is the errors that we have in our constitution that is leading to many agitation from different quarters. Don't get it twisted. It is not only Warri where we have people agitating for state creation. There are different people from different places. Even Anioma, I'm even surprised that I did not see Anioma on the list. Anioma has been also agitating for state creation. They want to break out. Why are they breaking out? Just like somebody made an example. Now that we have somebody from Delta Central at the ends of affair in Delta State, be rest assured that very few development will get to Delta North for now. That is how Delta State government runs. When Okowa was there, Okowa concentrated on Delta North, Asaba, Agbo, moved many of the institutions to Agbo and all of that. When Ibori was there, he moved everything to Ogara. It was only Udwanga that failed to do same. If Udwanga had done same, now maybe probably the agitation from Warri, from the Warri Axis or the Shekris would have been quite minimum, right? But what I'm saying is clearly what we have in Delta State is not equitable. It is not justiciable. And once you have illegality, injustices being perpetrated by even the government of the day is not a respecter of rule of law at the state and even at the federal level in many cases, then you are creating a society where people will continue to agitate, people will want to leave the marriage, people would eventually, if they can't even get what they want, if they are arresting people, they will take up arms. That is where we are getting to. So let's not even bother discussing the fact that, oh, some people are aggrieved, they want to leave. In fact, if we agree that a lot of these people are marginalized, if we speak to the reality of things, we agree to ourselves that these are the things that are happening. We are not being biased about it. Then we will agree that if people decided to leave this marriage, just like the Biafrans are saying they want to go, to a large extent, they should go. If you ask me a critical question about Nigeria, Nigeria has no business being one country. In fact, if we decide to be one country, we should be practicing true federalism. Not a situation where I take my money, I generate resources from crude oil, I give it to the federal government takes it and call me lazy, that I'm depending on allocation, because that's what some speakers have raised, that state that they will create, the state will not be state that are not viable, state that are lazy, So these states are even generating. Do you think the federal government has resources? The federal government doesn't have resources. It is the resources in the different domains of these states that is being accrued to the federal post that the federal government is using. Why did the Bori fight for resource control? It is because we know clearly that there is no federal system that is supposed to be so centralized with so much power to collect our resources and give us peanut back. And when we are not able to utilize them or even generate addition, they say we are lazy. So we need to get to the point where we tell ourselves the truth. In fact, the level of injustice in Nigeria, in summary now, what I'm saying in essence, is what is betting these agitations from different quarter. And since for many years we have failed to address these issues, let's not now come and throw the water and the baby away. We are now coming to criticize the agitation for state. What about the different issues of marginalization that has been ongoing in this country? How many of us have come out to speak against it? If it doesn't affect me personally, I will not talk. I'll say, after all, when his own person get there, his own person should do the same. That is how we have been deceiving ourselves in Nigeria. Some of the speakers that are speaking, and they are far away, say, oh, government accountable. Oh, government. How many of them will be on ground yet to hold government accountable? Somebody was making reference to local government. How much of resources in terms of the way we are running now in Nigeria will go to local government in terms of critical infrastructure need for development that will be equating what the state is getting to do all that the state is doing? Even in terms of the things that the local government can do, there are very few compared to that of the state. The same way you go up to the federal level, the concurrent and the exclusive list. These are different nomenclatures of things that is bedeviling the process. Why people are not saying, give us our state so that we can get our resources to utilize for our development. Delta State in this case now is actually not doing well in terms of equitable distribution of the wealth of Delta State. And you cannot now blame the people who are suffering the brunt of all of this for saying that they want to leave. So I find it very annoying too that people are angry, that people are suffering and they are coming to speak out, because that is the position of things. It is people who are suffering that are coming to speak out. Some persons were even using Warri Urban as a base to describe the Shekiri areas, or the three. Don't forget the three Warri that forms the local government of the Shekiris: Warri South, Warri Southwest, and Warri North. In fact, if you put them together, because of the water bodies that demarcates them into different islands, you think that the geographical expression is very small. It is not small. Many of you don't travel. Once you land Warri, you say, I've seen everywhere, I've lived there, I know every. You don't know anything. I went through the crisis, for example. I went through the first and second crisis. There's nothing anybody would tell me about Warri and the challenges it's facing. I went through the crisis, and for years, this crisis went on, and lives were lost in numbers. No government, not state, not federal, flew in from anywhere to rescue anybody. Those who survived by the grace of God, because the waterways were closed by these militants with gun who gun anybody down who tried to trespass. And you call this a country, and you say that we should remain as what? Don't forget that before the amalgamation of this country, before independence, these various ethnic nationalities, for example, Warri Kingdom was already established, having business deals and treaties with Portuguese, Britain, and what have you. You now said, okay, let's come together, let's form one country. We came into the country now, we are now the ones that is being left behind. We are the ones that are suffering under the basis, or the disadvantage that, oh, we lack the needed population to survive in a democratic system of government where majority carry the day and take everything and allow the minority to suffer. So we must begin to tell ourselves the truth. Until we tell ourselves the truth, we are just deceiving ourselves. Nobody should get angry for a child that has been beaten, who is not crying. You say, oh, that child should not cry because the child is disturbing my peace. Whereas
Anthony,
you caused that pain, you inflicted that pain on the child, and you are
sorry to interject and mess up your line of thoughts, but you just have a minute to wrap up. Thank you. And don't worry, I'm extending the space. So calm down, everybody. So, Mr. Tony, 1 minute, please. Thank you. You can unmute your mic.
okay. Now let me round up. Now, when you look at the three worries today, apart from the worry urban, yeah, where everybody know, You cross to the Shekiri, cross to Bolaja, cross to the different islands up to Borodo Espravos. Then you cross to Warri North, Ogeye, those places, Japa, Tebu, Bokoda, up to Koko, and all of these places, put them together. You go to these places, they lack basic potable water. They don't have. National grid came and gone. Now they have unbundled the power system so that state can now generate and transmit and distribute. These people did not enjoy one pinch of the national grid. Then common roads, they don't have roads. In fact, communities that are even connected to each other cannot even drive from one community to another. These are communities that are on land now, not so because there's water. For example, you go to Japa, you have Tebu, you have Udo, you have Bokoda, you have Ajamita. These are communities close to each other with rubber plantation and what have you, but there's no road. So how can you keep these people in the dark for this number of years? Yet you can travel into the river to get their crude oil, and you tell them that, oh, we are in one marriage called Delta State, where we are enjoying it, we are surviving, let us keep pushing on. We cannot continue to deceive ourselves in this manner. If you are experiencing the same level of deprivation, in your areas and Robo as and Ijo as and Isoko, you should speak up. Don't shut the other person who is speaking up for this level of marginalization for these numbers of years. Now, the resources of these areas is being taken to the federal post. The federal post is not also giving us anything. They distribute the money back to Delta State. Delta State also refused to give us anything. Now, in terms of higher institution, there's no higher institution. The primary schools that are in these refined areas, they lack teachers. When you go there, in fact, you will cry. Secondary schools, very few. Maybe you count one or two or three. I'm just mentioning few things to tell you that it is the level of injustice, the level of illegality, and the level of deprivation of the people that is leading to this agitation for state creation. And don't forget that Nigeria is not currently a country. If Nigeria is not taking into cognizance every citizen, whether Orobo, whether Ijo, whether Ikale, whether anything, into consideration the scheme of things when planning our budget for spending. Because at the end of the day, if you keep these people out of the picture of your developmental plan, you will keep on having more agitation. They just agitated for Bayelsa State and they got it as a result of marginalization after the discovery of oil in their land at Ogoni land. What happened till today? Kesariwa and others who died as a result of that struggle, they have not been settled. Now I'm hearing that the federal government wants to resume oil exploration, but the environmental degradation, the cleanup that they plan to do, they have not succeeded in doing it. They have not concluded. So why do we always ignore all of these problems that
Mr.
are
Tony,
everywhere and think that we should
please.
just forge ahead? We should just forge ahead. Thank you very much. We cannot forge ahead.
All right. Thank you. That was quite intense. Okay. Okay. Autorisha, you see, you
Can I?
people buy me ice cream for this space that I've sat here for 4 hours. I will collect it.
Don't worry.
It could be like you.
Don't worry. Okay, here I go. Tony, you have said everything that needs to be said, and you have pointed out things that need to be pointed out. I don't think a lot of people understand the intellectual, emotional, psychological, and physical effect this has on the Shakiris. You see, when Pharmacy was speaking, saying he grew up in Warri and then the schools he went to, and then when they asked him where Warri started, where Warri ended, and he started saying Uwe. You see, we Shakiris didn't name Uwe Warri. No, we didn't. We didn't go as far as where's the airport again? That airport. We didn't go as far that to name that place Warri. No, no. You see, development in Delta State has come from the way that it moves away from Warri and not into Warri, and we are okay with it because we get it. Therefore, no one complains about it, and the security should not say because it's okay that for us, but we don't care if it's not okay for them. Okay, now everything Tony has said here, now we've all heard it. Can someone hear this thing and not say what is happening in Delta State? No one is asking why Shekiris want Warri State. Nobody's asking this and that. Somebody is saying that Bayelsa State is Bayelsa State, Warri State will be Warri State. They can't be the same. The people in Bayelsa State and the people in Warri are not the same people. We are Nigerians, yes, we were different people. We know what we want and we know what we're pursuing as a people. And we know how we can push ourselves to get it. But it will be hard for us to get that in Delta State because when we speak, they will tell you it is not a worry, security it is a Delta State. Therefore, this and this will happen. Look at everything I've mentioned. Look at it. We have nothing whatsoever to keep us going as a people in Delta State. I am ashamed to say I'm a Delton. I'm ashamed to say it. When I come to Warri and I see what happens and all of that, and pharmacy said Urobo owns Cemetery Road because they live there. Come to Lagos, go to Diaraba. There are majorly Hausas who live there. Go to Okota, there are majorly Igbos who live there. You don't link them to that. We don't say it belongs to the Igbos or the Hausas. No, they come, they live there, they populate, and they grew. Beautiful. But you cannot say because of that they own those places. That is very wrong. It is very, 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 very wrong. And it's happening for us who are Shekiris to know that we have people who grew up in our place but have zero knowledge of who we are as a people. The creation of Delta states in itself wasn't supposed to be Delta, it was supposed to be an Edoa state, Edo and Delta. But they went behind, Edo and Warri, they went behind and created a Delta state behind these Shekiris. And we could do nothing about it, so we have to stay there. So asking us to stay now when we want to leave or just to leave is preposterous. And it's not nice, it's not polite, it's not kind in any way. It's not. Let us have a human face to this thing. Except somebody tell me is afraid of Shekiris leaving, that's it's going to affect them in a way. Well, for crying out loud, we have for
Oh,
so long tried to
oh,
be together and we're going to continue going. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you all very much for your time on this space. I mentioned earlier why the Shekris are pushing for a Warri state. It is not some politicians that are pushing for a Warri state. It is Shekiris that are pushing for a Warri state. So just to be clear, Warri state agitation is not going to go away. There's no friend of an Urobo or an Ijo or an Anyoma man that's going to promise anybody that, oh, our people are going to stay in Delta State. That man is just deceiving you because Warri State is the true, it is the true desire of the Shekiri. So that is just the truth. Only the Shakri people, whatever land they have, just know that just maybe about 5% it's accessible by road. Just imagine if we have Lagos State, for example, and just 5% is accessible by road. Now, these other places that are not accessible by road, there are no schools, no primary schools, no healthcare centers, no water, no bridges. Michael mentioned that local governments have a lot of power right now. That is true, but the thing is, local government don't have the kind of money to develop our terrain. It is oil wealth. We have to sell that oil. We have to get FAC and develop because local government don't have the kind of money to develop our region. The bridge to the Shekiri, I'm talking about that pharmacies. The bridge to the Shekiri that's been going on for 19 years. You know, this year made it 19. Now we are just finding out that the Delta State government has abandoned that bridge, and we have to use a pontoon from Ugbangwe to Ode Shekiri. So after 19 years of collecting oil, selling oil, collecting billions. They still cannot do a bridge to Ode Shekiri, but they are building you are seeing fine, fine things that they are doing everywhere. So, but our own, they cannot even do a bridge to Ode Shekiri. So, what we are trying to say here is that, look, for us to get development, for us to get, we need, it is our people. If a governor comes from Ishekiri now, Warri State, and say, okay, he didn't do this, I can be sure that, oh, in the next 8 years, I'll get another Shekiri governor. But in the present Delta State, I will not be, I cannot, the Shekiri will not be a governor in 50 years. Will not be a governor in 50 years. Do you know what 50 years is? Many people don't even live for 50 years. So, please, we are trying to gather support for Warri State. When you see the word Warri State, don't be triggered. It has nothing to do with a small 2 by 2 land. Warri State is 4,000 square kilometers. Lagos State is 3,600 square kilometers. So you can see the difference. One plot of land that has disputes is not going to be why we are agitating for a Warri State. Secondly, um, when you see a Warri State, know that it is the desire of not politicians, but the Shekiri people. People want to go to their villages. My father, my grandmother, she could not go to her village. She's dead now. Me, myself, she gave birth to my father. My father now gave birth to me. Me, myself, I still can't go to that village unless I use a boat. You see, this is how many years apart. So if we don't start to have these conversations, we'll keep being marginalized. Nobody is talking about those regions they are not even on the plan of Delta State at all, at all, at all. So I think Warri State, I don't know if they are saying to third or to create a state. Uh, they are saying two third or 1/3. I don't know what the actual number is for state creation. I don't know if it's 2/3 of the House that needs to support or 1/3. Well, we are hoping to get that support, and we'll keep having these conversations so that the word can spread. We'll keep having these conversations so the word can spread, and on why a state needs to be created. The land is not going anywhere. It's just an administrative zone, like Chief Idemudia said. So want to, be able to have more control of our resources and put them into those things that we want. Our people, the Shekiri people, eh, the 80% of them or 90% safe, they don't even live in Shekiri land because those places are unhabitable. They are swampy. They are, unaccessible. They don't have schools. Now, most of our people now buy land in Asaba. They now buy land in Delta Central. So we are not like refugees in Delta State, whereas we have land. Call it swamp, call it whatever you like. Lagos was sandfield. People live there. It's one of the most beautiful states in Nigeria today. Let us go and use our resources and beautify our place and let us live there. Let our people be able to come into their lands. Let them come in. Let them come in so that our populations will not lost for a split second. So this is why we are calling for a Warri State. I just wanted to give a roundup and just before we end the space. So we are looking for support. We are hoping that you guys can support us. Um, Southwest, North, South, South. We are hoping that when you see a Warri State, you will know why the people are agitating for it. So we'll keep having such spaces. Thank you very much for joining.
Wait
Thank you.
to
When me, thank
wait to wait a
you.
minute.
I owe you ice cream.
No, don't hold wait a me ice cream. I hold wait a me burger and chips. Anyway, let me give my last remarks. So, guys, it has been a wonderful day.
What you owe me is more than that. At this point, you owe me at least two plots of land,
Eh?
and I will collect it.
Anyway,
Be shouting.
I have a land in Agbosha, but that one I will use it to build hotel when I have more resources. Anyway, guys, as you already
Please, I
know,
wanted to make some little correction. See, Delta State was created not because of agitation of Warri State. Delta State was created because there was an agitation between the Rubos that they wanted their own state, and Anyoma and Babangida's wife, being who she was, influenced her husband to create Delta State from Bede State and make her Saba, where she comes from, the capital. That's what happened.
yeah, we know that our late madam. Anyway, guys, you already know Delta State is home to me.
It,
Um,
it was not. It was not an agitation for.
it's okay.
Thank you all so much for joining the space. I
Wait,
did
to
not.
let me give my remarks. So I have not given my remarks.
Fine, give your
Sorry.
remark. I want to. I have things I need to do.
I know. Anyway, guys, you already know that Delta State is my home. Um, anything that will bring peace to Delta State, I'm all for it. I'm still going to sit down with critical stakeholders in Delta State for us to look at this Warri State critically because I know it will benefit everyone in that region. Because me, I see Delta State as my home. It's my home. I say it everywhere I go. When I'm in Agbo or Asaba, I'm already close home. There's literally Uromi Junction in Delta State, so you can see it's home. So, guys, let's not fight. Let's not kill ourselves. We are all in this same country. Let's strive to make each and every one to understand our viewpoint without insulting each other's tribe or whatnot. So please, guys, thank you for coming. Your contribution are well noted and stuff like that. So good night, everyone. Thank you very much.
All right. Um, Demeter has said everything that I would usually say at the end of a space. 4 hours. This space started at 7 to 7, 8. This is like 4 hours. I did not expect to be here for this long. My plan was to just, quickly just get people's point of view, feel their pulse, and be on our way. Good talk. However, as Media has said, you don't come across as coherent when you borderline to negativity. I don't know if it's an intentional or unintentional thing, but there's so many characters that individuals who come on space to speak need to drop. Whenever I host spaces, and I rarely do anymore, I want to make sure that people leave learning and hoping to interact and engage each other in another space as civil as possible. Civility culture is a big deal for me. So I don't necessarily appreciate it when people come on space. I want to interject each other, call each other names, call each other this. You are literally becoming the very thing you hate, but you don't see it. You also need to understand that our belief systems are different. When you start to see people as belief systems and you start to think in systems, there's certain things you don't necessarily um hold as a grudge. Again, I understand that the Nigerian terrain has made a lot of us hypersensitive and triggered. But it's interesting to know that the people who talk about hypersensitivity and trigger are the exact same thing that you're preaching against. So please, not just in this space, any other space moving forward, whenever you see yourselves, I believe you guys can counter each other. Because the words you say, words are heavy. Words are heavy. You cannot just impose your words on people. And you have to give people a certain time frame to make their submissions, and you can counter. And I don't think you need to do all that with throwing heavy words. So please, moving forward, let's do better. Good talk, good talk.